It's always nice to get down here, and of course on such a great day. All I want to say is really the Chamber of Commerce, it's headed in this 25th year, and the future is so bright. The past year has just been amazing. The strategic plan that has been completed, the mission, the vision statements, and the pleasure of working with some of these experts that you'll get to meet in a few minutes from Buffalo to lead us into this new brand that we're announcing today. Such an exciting year for the Chamber and really looking forward to the future. To give you a little bit more background, I'm going to introduce President and CEO of the Chamber, Dan Heitzelreiter.
Thanks, Heather. I am Dan with the CHQ Chamber. So I did want to just start and ask, what does everybody think of the new logo and look we have for Chamber? Yeah? All right. As Heather mentioned, we've been on quite a path to get here today, and we're going to keep, just so everybody knows, kind of our agenda. Very short program, and we're definitely going to hear from Mr. Smith a little more about our process and how we arrived at this logo, and then we'll get back outside, as Heather mentioned. When I started the Chamber, I've been here just about 3 years now. I got a lot of questions, of course, starting a new job in a new role. And probably the number one question was, well, which chamber do you work for? Do you work for the Chautauqua County Chamber or the Jamestown Chamber or the Dunkirk Chamber? And as I got acquainted with our organization, I was able to answer that a little better and would often say, well, technically all of them, because, as far as in the background as a nonprofit organization, we are one chamber, but we have historically had these 7 different brands. And of course, that over time has kind of presented a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of challenges. So we started navigating about 2 years ago with a strategic plan for our organization, and we had 4 strategic directions that came out of that plan. Those were to facilitate collaborative relationships between our businesses to promote economic activity for the county, which of course is like core Chamber of Commerce work. Unify and streamline the Chamber through the utilization of a consistent brand structure. Clarify who we are and what we do. And to lead the way and excel at boosterism to serve as the spokespeople for businesses. So as we looked ahead at the next 3 to 5 plus years, 50% of our strategic directions said you need to do a better job telling the community who the Chamber is, what you do, and really get people to understand that. So when we really first started this, we looked at our mission and our vision statements and updated those, and we've really started to center all of our work around that mission and vision. You've probably seen some of our announcements about programs and events that we've maybe done for years that we're really trying to hone in, make sure we're hitting that mark. And that mission is to build vital connections, provide professional resources, and champion our local businesses in Chautauqua County. And our vision is that the Chamber of Commerce is a critical partner in achieving consistent economic growth, resiliency, and prosperity to increase the collective opportunity for local businesses and organizations in Chautauqua County. This is the culmination today of, as I said, a lot of work, the next step of our implementing the strategic plan. And we know at the Chamber, with our board and our team, the clarity that we're going to have and be able to show the community from this new brand is going to allow us to be even more effective in serving our businesses and organizations in Chautauqua County. So I'm very pleased to turn the microphone over to Rob Dimmer from Mr. Smith Agency. Their team has been fantastic to work with to talk a little bit about how we got here. Rob.
Thank you. I'm going to stand up here so we don't have an issue with this presentation. But I want to thank Dan and Sheila and the rest of the board for having us here today. It's been a pleasure to work with everybody. I'm going to talk through the steps that we took to get to where we got, which everyone has seen at this point. The logo and what this goal was. But when we first started, as Dan said, there was a lot of work done on the mission, vision, value side of things. So some of the hard part of stuff we have to do is kind of done. So it's a matter of how do we align like a visual look and feel to the work that's already been done, right? So we put together these steps here. So one of which is a discovery session which is sort of an intake session where we facilitate a discussion, work through a series of exercises. Some of the work was a little bit redundant, but it was really informative for us to really understand, what the goals were and how to set that visual direction. Then we actually build the brand identity itself, which I'm going to skip right over it. It seems really easy, but we're going to talk through it in a second. And then, work with Sheila to understand, what materials are needed that are like these, more consumer-facing touch points. So starting with the discovery session, there's a picture of myself, Sean, and Colin. Chrissy, our creative director, couldn't be here today, but I do want to quickly recognize Sean and Colin back here. Sean's our... Look at him, he's so proud. Colin's a partner and strategy director, and Sean's our director of operations, who sort of led all of this with our team to make sure, what we said we were going to do, we actually did. So we went through strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, SWOT analysis. We did brand personality sliders. We did a we are not exercise. We did a competitor access, and we did a naming exercise. Which here's sort of the culmination of this, and which led us to a recap and a summary of all the goals and everything that we thought we needed to do. And the naming exercise resulted in CHQ Chamber being the operative name. And so with that, we start moving into the actual brand identity process. So here we're going to talk through what we did from mood boards, stylescapes, and actually a logo concept. So with mood boards, we're trying to set a direction here. We want to see what's out there in the world. What do we like? What do we not like? But less about us, less about the chamber, more about what should it be, right? The audiences that we're talking to, we try to be as objective as possible when we go through a process like this. So we want to talk about, like, this is what it needs to be, this is who we're talking to. When we get into stylescapes, this next phase, so after we set some of the direction on the front end, this is where we're actually saying this is the recommended direction of the process visually of what we believe the chamber should be. So here we're talking through color palettes, we're talking through imagery, typography, textures, patterns, shapes, all the sort of elements that make up the identity without showing that actual logo itself, sort of like inverting the process a bit, so that when we get to that point, it just makes sense. And ending with the logo concepts, what we did is we take 3 prompts here. So what we gathered from the discovery session, what we gathered from all our work, the chamber is innovative, it's unified, and we're community builders, right? How do we turn those into visual prompts? Well, we need to build something that is dynamic, it shows connectivity, and it shows structure, and then we're grounded. And with that, we came up with this scheme of, we're going to include water, an idea of water into this, we're going to include connections, and we're going to include these community pillars and combining these communities together. And, it's born within that logo itself. And then we see these other sort of, we call an identity set or alternative marks, where we can use Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce when we want to make a better introduction of who the chamber is. Not everyone's going to understand the idea of CHQ, but we really wanted to embrace CHQ as its own unique identity and sort of own that for the chamber. And well, there's another version of it. And as you can see how it can translate into rollout materials. So we have like an example of like a membership handbook, shop local gift card, things like that. All fun things to come, right? And that's it. I put this question slide in here. If anyone has any questions, or for myself, Dan, Sheila, being a part of this process, we can obviously go through that, but thank you.
Thanks, Rob. As you stated, if anybody does have any questions, or Dr. Collison. Yeah.
Yeah, as a chamber, are we going to consider trademarking this?
Cool.
So that no one copies it.
Right. Right. Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, I think that's a discussion, a business-related discussion for you to decide. There's certain, certain needs that mark needs to invoke in order to like meet trademark standards, right? So something that we can certainly work with through you, go through a trademark library. Obviously a lot of research that was done by us to make sure that we weren't infringing on anything else, of course. So we do have a very unique identity for the CHQ chamber. I mean, that is, within our rights to do that, and certainly a discussion to be had. I mean, we're happy to facilitate and help in any way, but definitely can help.
Sure. Yeah.
Quick question. Just wanted to ask, did you guys have any initial feedback from the public yet, or any collaboration with the other Chamber of Commerce?
So this is our public rollout. This is the first time pretty much anybody who's not the staff or Mr. Smith agency or board are seeing this. So, however, our process leading up to this that Rob was showing, obviously with our discovery session, has been very involved with folks who are involved with the chamber. Again, our board of directors, thoughts and feedback that we're bringing back from our volunteers and business owners in the communities. So, we have not had, other than whatever is being shared tonight, that public feedback. I will say I did an interview earlier this week that is airing right now, and we were talking about it, and they got a sneak peek, and I was very excited and pleased that as I'm talking about the logo and the feel and the elements that we wanted to include, like the flowing water, which Chautauqua County has all over the county, the connections, et cetera. The interviewer sitting across goes, I can see that, and the H looks like Chautauqua Lake Bridge, and so we're definitely excited to get that feedback from here. Yeah. Anyone else? All right. Awesome. Well, thank you again to Mr. Smith Agency. Please give them another round of applause. Yeah, County Executive.
I'd like to make more of a statement. So a few years, a little 3 years ago, Danny was my executive assistant. He came into my office and said, I applied for a job with the chamber. I'm like, okay, well, I'll give him a day off. And he goes, they offered me the job. Well, my jaw hit the ground. But the reason I'm saying that is this vision, this rollout, what you see today would not have happened if it weren't for Danny being in this role, moving into this position, and what he has done. Those of us in electeds, we call it the circuit. I can't tell you how many ribbon cuttings we have, the events we go to. What has transpired in the last 3 years of the Chamber of Commerce has been phenomenal. The board, the staff, but most importantly, Danny and his vision. So for myself and the residents of the county, thank you for all you've done, the board that supports you. Congratulations on it.
Thanks, PJ. And I mean, this is like the next part of the story, right? This is going to help us continue that excitement and keep it going. So, great. Well, as we said, we are here. Please continue to network around. Please make sure you get a photo in front of the backdrop outside. Please share that around as well. Tag CHQ Chamber to start spreading the news. And, we're definitely hang out, connect as long as you'd like, but we can't stay too late because RTPI has a big summer soiree Saturday they need to prep for. But we appreciate everybody joining us for this, and we're so excited for the next 25 years. So thank you.